Hello and welcome to the latest video of mine. Been a while since I've done one of these. So today we're going to look at a route that is coming to Train Sim World 6 very shortly. It's just been moved up in the December roadmap to 0 to 3 months. And it is Crewe to Preston, being bought out by Just Trains. Slight difference, this route is a more modern version, and the Just Trains version for TSW6 is going to be set in 1986. Also part of the December update was the Alan Thompson Simulation Class 90 pack, which is again been put in the 0 to 3 months. So we're going to be doing a run with a Class 90. This is the Train Sim Classic route, Alan Thompson Simulations, West Coast Main Line, Midlands and Northwest. And of course not Alan Thompson, Armstrong Powerhouse Class 90. So let's jump into the cab, get set up and get on our way. Headlight, master switch, put it in neutral, get all the alarms going off. ETS on. Right, let's open the doors, let people on. Let's get me HUD back up. No, hang on. Where's me HUD gone? That's the one. Marker lights on. Yep. Got the road. Take the DRA off. Let's knock the brake back. Wind the speed set down to 20. Oh, cross country HST coming in on the right. What we're looking for? Instrument lights. So we are stopping at Warrington Bank Quay, Wigan Northwestern and Preston. Crewe station itself opened in 1837, part of the Grand Junction Railway, passed through to the LNWR in 1846, became LMS 1923. Electrified in 1959 as part of the Liverpool and Manchester electrification project. That was through on the main line through to Weaver Junction, which we'll be going through. Fully electrification through to Glasgow actually finished in 1974, although it did open to Preston in 1973. And there was a major rebuild of Crewe Station 1984 to 85, and they actually reactivated some withdrawn Class 40s, put them into departmental use, and they were moving all the departmental engineering trains around the station. As we get going, I'll tell you a little bit about the line, some of the main points of interest. I'll read you the blurb from Just Trains about the release that's coming. Tell you a little bit about the Class 90s. Anyone that knows me will know that they were my favourite loco to drive. I love me a Class 90. I'm really looking forward to getting one in Train Sim World 6. We've got 90011 chartered Institute Transport. Standard set of Mark III coaches. This service is actually London Euston to Preston service. Oh, wrong button. I'll get the hang of this eventually, trust me. So the indication on the signal, we're going out on the slow lines, which means that once we're clear of Crewe Junction, we will be limited to 75 mile an hour until we get to Winsford Junction, where it goes back down to two tracks through Winsford pretty much to Hertford. It becomes 4 lines again for a bit. Not quite sure what this chap on the right is waving at, but he seems happy with himself. So as the little notice said, yes, we are limited to 110 mph maximum speed for this loco anyway. We can't use the EPS or enhanced permissible speeds because they're set up for tilting trains. See the Chester line diverging there off to the left, and just over to the right through the metal fencing you can see the line to Manchester disappearing off. Straight in front of us and coming out Johnny on our left hand side is what is now the Crewe Heritage Centre. Crewe North signal box forms part of it, and you can just see the APT, Advanced Passenger Train, sneaking a look over the top. If you've never been there, it's well worth a visit. Down avoiding line coming up through the underpass on the left hand side, and the up avoiding line disappearing down on the right hand side. Speed increase, so we'll change the speed set. And an 86 on what looks to be a cross-country service. Just going past us. Neutral section warning board. Got a mile to go to the first neutral section. One thing they have said on the new Class 90 for TSW6, the VCB will work, so when you get a neutral section you'll have to deal with that. It's not quite as bad as an 86, that doesn't quite stop working if you go for a neutral section with the power on, but it does chop the power off and then reapply it. Correct practice is to actually reduce the power off and reapply the power when you've gone through the neutral section. But hey, it's your game, you play it as you like. So power off. This is Crewe Coal Yard neutral section. And that used to be that was the neutral. That was what was here. This is where the coal yards used to be. As we head down towards Wingford South Junction. Mark III DVT set coming on the up lane. And a Class 90 pushing it on the back. So the Class 90s came into being in 1988. That's when they first came out on test. That's when I saw my first Class 90. Actually on test in August 88 at Preston Station. If you are on Tintin 57 Discord, then have a look on there, because I did post a picture on there of that train when I saw it. Little knowing, many years later, I would actually be driving that same locomotive up and down the main line on intercity trains myself. There isn't much difference between the passenger and freight locomotives. There's a visual difference at the front. The round clipped buffers you can see on here, they were removed, fitted with standard oval buffers. The draw plate on the front, or the buffing plate, was removed, and as was the Buckeye, and replaced with a standard draw hook with a screw coupling for freight train operations. Internally, the only real difference, and it's actually on this one, although it technically shouldn't be, is this. It's a train length indicator. Passenger trains are pretty much fixed length, and as you drive them you get to know when you've passed your speed board where you can start applying power to start accelerating again. Freight trains, they can vary from day to day as to how long they are. So to help drivers with that, on the back panel of the cab there's a entry unit. You can put in how long the train is, and then when you pass that the speed board, you can press that button, and when you've gone the correct distance you'll get a beep, and then you know you're clear and you're okay to accelerate. Oh, GSMR's gone off. The Armstrong Powerhouse pack for these Class 90s, it's one of their earliest packs. It may even be their first pack. I'll have to check up on that, or someone, if you know, put it in the comments for me. But it's still an improvement over the DTG or Dovetail pack, that the original one that was released with the Great Eastern Main Line. So the speed set control, you get in the middle. It will allow you to take power up to the speed that you've got it selected for. It will not prevent you overspeeding if you are going downhill until you've exceeded 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. So it's not like adaptive cruise control in your car. It will let you overspeed. Oh, coming up against the double yellow. Knock the power off. Oh, and then we've got a freight fitted Class 90 on the right hand side. Okay, put the brake on, let's knock the speed down a bit. So I would say that we're actually following something, because we've only got one signal between us and the junction. Normally we would be getting clear signals if we were going to being turned out on the main line. We're not being stopped at the junction, so there must be something in front of us. Just keep rolling about 50 miles an hour and hopefully give whatever's in front of us time to get out of the way. Yeah, another double yellow. Okay, keep rolling. So this is Winterford Junction, back down to 2 lines, and we stay 2 lines until we get to near Hertford. So the Just Trains release, I'll read it out to you. Just Trains bring their latest edition for the West Coast Main Line series, Crewe to Preston. As you may already know, they have done some already. The first one was the Blackpool branches, and they released Preston to Carlisle. We have just recently received Birmingham to Crewe via Stafford, and also announced is Milton Keynes through to Crewe, which will join up with the existing line at Stafford but continue through to Crewe as its own standalone. So this busy section, located in northwest England, includes the historic railway town of Crewe, as well as a multitude of branches which will allow you to explore a number of lesser known areas, such as the Deepdale branch north of Preston. With varying speed limits and track arrangements, you'll constantly be adjusting to the line ahead, whether you're driving 100 mile an hour express or 45 mile an hour freight. This immersive route will take you back to an era when the West Coast Main Line was truly alive with a huge variety of traffic. Take charge of the powerful electric Class 86-4 locomotive on high-speed passenger and freight runs between Preston and Crewe. We have got the 86-2 already in Train Sim World 6. In Train Sim World, the 86-4 is a slightly different variant. It is fitted for multiple working, so you can control 2 locomotives together. Whereas the 86-2 was a standalone. You run what you had. If you wanted 2 locos, you had to have a driver in each cab. Trying to coordinate doing that is not easy. Also, drive the upgraded Class 20 with numerous external improvements, including a head code box variant. A star feature is its all-new slow-speed control for precision merry-go-round coal operations. I'm looking forward to that. Nice bit of freight work. Enjoy the much improved Class 47-3, a brand new subclass, which along with the external changes and cab modifications also features a slow-speed control operation, which can be used when using the brand new HAA coal hoppers and upgraded HEA, which include a new livery and enhanced weathering. We have already got some, I think, HEA's hoppers. They came on the Tees Valley line. Nothing wrong with an upgraded version. The HEAs were used on household coal duties. For passenger operations, there are the Mark II-E TSO, Mark II-D BFK and FK corridor coaches, along with a Mark I NEA and RBR restaurant buffet car. So some of the things we've already got, and some are coming new. Or if you've already got the other DLCs, you will already have them. But I think even if you haven't, they are coming with it, not as layers. Set in 1986, the route has our most intensive and varied timetable to date, featuring a wealth of passenger services, postal trains, end-to-end freight trains, shunting operations and light engine moves, along with excursions, all merging to provide a wealth of variety. Tackle the challenge of running merry-go-round coal trains from both Bickershaw and Parkside Collieries to Fiddler's Ferry Power Station. Of course, you will be able to route hop to join up with the other Just Trains routes, making Crewe to Preston a valuable addition to your West Coast routes library. Absolutely. Very much looking forward to this. In fact, the only section that we're going to be short of, hopefully someone will eventually announce this, is Carlisle to Glasgow. We live in hope someone might actually bring this up. Single yellow, knock the speed down. Red light round the corner. So Class 90 is not only air brake fitted for the train, but also rheostatic brake fitted. And as you can see, when you put the brake on, if you watch the power needles on the right hand side, you'll see them lift up as the motor starts working in reverse, increasing the amount of drag available to the train to help slow it down. This is Vale Royal Viaduct. There we go. We're approaching Hertford Station. Yep. So the signal's got a cautionary aspect, so just let it roll for a bit. And this is Hertford Junction. That connects with the Chester to Northwich line. This bit of track we're actually able to run at 110 mile an hour, maximum loco speed, providing the signals allow us to. Oh, another Mark III set on its way to London. This time with an 86 on the back. 86 could of course work with the Mark IIIs, the Mark III DVTs, because they were fitted by this time with the TDM, time division multiplex equipment, which could be identified by the smaller type of jumper cables that you often saw hanging between the coaches. And that was used to pass digital signals down through the coaches for the communication. It's not bad because those cables were originally intended just to provide lighting control, turn the lights on and off. Whatever was in front of us seems to be getting a shift on out the way. Now you may recognise this route if you've got Spirit of Steam, because you do run down this section of track to Weaver Junction before you turn off at Liverpool. I say recognise it, it's changed considerably through those days. And this is Acton Bridge Station. Crank it up, see if we can actually get up to 110. Got just under 10 miles to go before we get to Warrington. This is Dutton Viaduct. And we're now approaching Weaver Junction, and this is where the line splits off. Trains to Liverpool go off to the left and come in over the flyover. And this was the extent of the electrification along the main line for many a year. And any northbound Scottish services had to change diesels, or change to diesels when they got to Crewe, which became the main working for the Class 50s when they were introduced. Oops, oh well. I've just missed the Weaver Junction neutral section, but as you can see, unlike the Class 86, it doesn't all shut down and you have to restart again from scratch. Bad practice though. I'll give myself a talking to later when I get back to the depot. I'm not sure what happened in '73 when the electric train started running through to Preston, or whether anything that went north of Preston, did they change at Preston, or did they change over at Crewe still? If anybody knows, drop it in the comments and just satisfy my curiosity, please. There we go, 108, 109 mile an hour. They did tend to skip down a few miles an hour below your maximum speed, then power back up. It wasn't a constant power thing. Knock a bit of speed off a 100 mile an hour limit. Acton Grange Junction. As we run into Warrington Bank Quay. More than one line here in Warrington. We actually go over the Liverpool-Manchester line, which is served through Warrington Central Station. This was the second, Warrington Bank Quay is actually the second station built on the main line, and this one was opened in 1868, moving from its previous site. Dominating the skyline, just off to the left as we're running, is of course the old Unilever factory. This closed in towards the end of 2020, I believe. I remember from my childhood travelling through this station, and even though it was a soap factory, God, it used to stink. Ah, well, a little bit past, but at least we're still in the platform. You can see the extent of the factory there, quite a lot of it. Yeah, shut down in 2020. I'm not sure what's happening to it at the moment. I did hear there were plans redevelop it into a small industrial site, put units on it for industry. But not having been down that way for a number of years, I've got no idea what's happening. Oh, hello, wrong button again. Doing well today. You can see the front of the loco, buffers that were changed. That's the buffing plate, and of course the Buckeye coupling. Swing that? No. It's not like TSW where you can actually move the couplings and things. Just thought any train's coming. Ooh. Not a good place to stop. Due to depart 19:15. Half a minute. We'll leave here. Next stop, Wigan Northwestern. Oh, super sprinter running in. Right away. No beep. Ow. Currently a 90 limit. We should be well out of that before we need into the full speed section before we hit 90. Knock speed control down just in case. Back to 80 just in case we do manage to get up that fast. These are very powerful locos, 5,000 horsepower, and it was possible the wheel would slip at 100 mile an hour. Spin the wheels because there's so much power with them. Sure whether it's true or not, but I was once told that from between Norwich and London, if you went full power every time, you could draw enough electricity through the journey to actually power a small village for most of, if not all, the day. Dalham Royal Mail Terminal on the right. Class 90 hauling a failed DVT. When they first came in, the DVTs weren't allowed to be used as driving trailers, so they were just used as brake vans. Although strangely, you often saw them coupled nose to coach, so if the guard was in there, he had no access to the rest of the train. A bit odd. I know we're in a 90 mile an hour section. I'm not going to bother accelerating because we have got an 80 coming up. This is Winnick Junction. Line goes off there to Earlstown. Wellow Park neutral section. Yeah, missed that one again. But again, class 90s, they just bowl through them. No resetting. Starting again with the taps. Class 56. Quite sad train to me. Approach now to Wigan Northwestern. Lines diving left and right. Wigan Springs. Springs branch. Springs Branch Junction around this area, depot down on the right hand side somewhere. Again, more than one station here in Wigan. We cross the Manchester to Southport and Manchester to Kirkby lines, and they're served from Wigan Walgate station. Historically, for railway safety, this is actually an interesting place. There was a very bad crash in 1973, lots of people injured, number of fatalities, and it was that crash, from the inquiry into that crash, that the decision was made that all facing points that had passenger trains running over them had to have a lock to prevent them from being moved or moving while the train was passing over. Just an unfortunate thing in the annals of railway history that all safety improvements. Are you doing the Macarena or something? What's she standing there like? All safety improvements seem to have come from the result of people dying. That was often the way at the time. Why spend money unless you had to? So this station opened in 1838 on its current site, and I believe it was open at the same time as Preston, so the line from here through to Preston, as part of the North Union Railway. I should just say, I did download this simulation from Alan Thompson Simulations. It's been altered. The original one was written by 87002RS brackets John. So John, thank you very much for the original one. It's originally started by attaching an 86 on the front of it and hauling the Class 90 dead, but I wanted to show the Class 90, so just took a little bit first of the scenario out to run it as it is. But if you're on these routes, Alan Thompson Simulations, they got some excellent scenarios on there you can download. You don't have to pay for the subscription membership to get some of the stuff that's free, but some of the stuff is subscription you have to pay for. You get some excellent lines and routes, rolling stock. Have a look. Not signed by, I'm not affiliated in any way, but well worth a look if you're into Train Sim Classic. Same with the Armstrong Powerhouse upgrade packs, although if you start getting everything from these sites, it is going to get expensive. What time are we out of here? 28. And then we're next stop Preston. This is actually bad driving practice, constantly changing the speed set. We were always told keep it at one speed, and if you're going at less than that, then you just drove to that speed manually. Or that was the practice on my line anyway. 100 mile an hour north of Chelmsford and 90 mile an hour south of 85 mile an hour south of Chelmsford. Next stop Preston. Mind you, if we come across any emergency speed restrictions or temporary speed restrictions where we had to run for a distance at 20 mile an hour or whatever it was, then yeah, we would dial them down and reuse them. It was a good trick to wind up the incoming driver, set it down to 0 and see how long it took him to realise why the train wasn't moving. Because it would actually just stop you taking any power at all. Speed set is always live, you can't turn it off. If you wanted to drive it manually, you just cranked it up to the maximum and ignored it. 15 miles to Preston. Working for the West Coast. Pair of 86s on a freight liner. Just we're going downhill, take the power off, see how far we can roll, whether we pick up speed, or no, we're actually losing speed, leave it as it is. Yarrow Viaduct. Now, I'm not sure how to pronounce this station on the left. Is it Euston or Yuxton? Uxton? Yuxton Balshaw Lane, perhaps? 86 on some Royal Mail working. Neutral section. And Leyland Station. Not far from Preston, start getting checked down. And those of you who've got Blackpool branches, you'll start seeing bits that you recognise. Took up a bit too much there. Oh well, never mind. Skewbridge Junction, that's the Ormskirk line coming in. Preston Ribble Junction. I think I'm getting these in the right order. 37 on a cross-country service. Regional railway services, it was then. And a 150/2 in Merseyrail livery. And the lovely city of Preston. As we head over the river into the station. Over to the left, you can see the line goes down, down to the docks. And when I say down to the docks, I do mean, yeah, literally down. It's a fairly steep slope. And lovely Preston Station, opened in 1838. 8 different railway companies were running through here at one point, which made life very interesting as to who had priority. If you actually look at the Wikipedia page for Preston Station, really do go have a look. It's interesting how everything kind of melded together. The problems they had, you know, charges, extra charges for one company's passengers to change onto their line, resulting in one point at passengers getting off and walking from one station to the next to get on a different train to just save quite a bit of money actually. But yeah, Wikipedia page, well recommended, go and have a look. And welcome to Preston. There we go. Hope you've enjoyed the run. If you liked it, drop us a like. And if you really liked it, give me a follow. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.